Hey everybody, it's the Van Show! Welcome. And welcome to you, Ebony Ladell. Thanks for coming on the show.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Yeah, awesome. So now, Ebony, the reason we brought you on the show is we wanted to learn about you. So can you tell us where are you from?
Yeah, so I am from the Detroit metro area. Right, if people who know Detroit, right outside of Detroit, Oak Park in Southfield, Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some friends from Detroit, but it seems like everybody I know from Detroit is actually from like Hamtramck or like Kalamazoo or like lots of other places around Michigan, but not actually Detroit itself.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us some things you love about Detroit?
Sure. I love the music influence. Detroit is, I like to call it a time capsule of like America's music. And so the Motown energy is very ever present in the people and the way we, the way we consume music. Like I remember growing up and on Saturday mornings we're listening to music while we're cleaning, or my dad was always taking me to a concert before I can remember. They said that I knew songs before I knew how to speak. So it's a very big part of the culture. And also, the auto industry is surprisingly a big part of Detroit's culture, just like cars. And the people. I mean, I would say, like, I love the energy of the people in the city. It's a city it's a small city in a lot of ways, but it just has such big personalities, and that's what I love about it the most.
So now, Ebony, we brought you on the show because you're a writer, and we want to talk a little bit about writing. But I want to know, were you a writer as a kid?
Yeah, I was actually. So when I was younger, I used to get 3-line loose leaf paper, and I would staple them together and I'd create stories. My mother also is an artist, I would say. Like, she is a great singer. She also wrote, we would paint together. And so she really cultivated my love of reading. And so I think once she realized that there was an interest in me creating stories, she started taking me to the library all the time. And then when I was in middle school, I wrote this thriller about this girl that got kidnapped. And unfortunately, our computer crashed, so all of it was not saved. But
I'm sorry about that. That's so heartbreaking.
But yeah, that was my first moment of really being into a story and really being devastated that I lost it. But even then, I didn't know that I could have it as a career. It was just something that was so fun to me. I never imagined that I would be a writer, but also, of course I would be a writer,
But so you ended up working in the publishing industry, but not as a writer first off, is that correct?
Yeah, so the reason why I started working in the publishing industry was because in college, I worked at our bookstore, and that was the first time I realized that there is a whole business around books. So I met a publicist for the first time because we had an author signing, and I was just like, oh, that's a really cool job. Maybe I should do that. And so I started to look into jobs in marketing. And so I moved from DC to New York to pursue a career. And also in some ways I did that because I was afraid to write still. And so I felt like, oh, maybe writing isn't my thing. I'm supposed to be a marketer instead. And I think that was me hiding behind another part of my life that I really wanted, but was just too afraid to pursue.
Well, you know what? I think maybe you had to go there first before you could get to the author part.
Most definitely. There's so much I learned while I was in publishing. I've read so many books. I worked with so many talented authors. And all of that really shaped and informed the work that I wrote, how I marketed myself, how I, all the things that you would take for granted. I basically had a class in that, a free class, while I was also working during the day.
Wow, excellent. And I want to ask about, so with a background in marketing, moving into to being an author, do you find sometimes while you're writing that some of your background in marketing kind of informs how you're writing?
I really try to stay away from that. And there have been times where I've been like, oh, maybe I should put this in here because it might get this. And I'm like, I'm losing the art of the story. And so I've really had to force myself to just write the story. And so it's really putting on different hats. And it's helpful because during COVID was when I was writing most of the book. I would write in the morning before I even started my day. And so I went to bed dreaming about these characters. I woke up, they were fresh on my mind, and I was able to write it. And then I took that hat off and put my marketing hat on and went to work. So it felt very separate. And I like that I was able to do that.
Awesome. So can we talk a little bit about your book? This is your first book, is that right?
Yes, it is.
So tell us a little bit about it. Now, you don't have to give any spoilers away.
Yeah.
but kind of give us a little rundown of the book.
Yeah, so Love Radio is a love story set in Detroit. It's about two teenagers. Danny Ford, who's an aspiring writer, kind of like myself. She wants to move to New York and pursue her dreams of being a writer. And Prince Jones, who is a local DJ/love expert, who his love life is a little bit rocky. He's always been interested in Danny, and after a kind of rocky meet cute, he finally convinces her to go on 3 dates with him, and sparks fly.
I love it. I also so he convinced her to go on 3 dates. Was it almost like a bet or a dare?
Yeah, you can say it was kind of a bet. He was just trying to throw whatever he could at her to convince her to go out with him. And basically they have a conversation where he is explaining to her that men actually fall in love quicker than they like to admit. It's just that, men get caught up in their emotions and they don't want to pursue things because of fear. And so from there, she asked him how many days or how long does it take a man to fall in love? And his answer was 134 days. And she told him, that's about 6 months. Sorry, my math is really bad. She said, that's about 6 months. I'm not going to give you that much time. And he said, okay, give me 3 dates. So it was essentially him just throwing out something. But it was intentional because I read somewhere that in 3 dates, that's how you can find a connection between both parties. It's when 3 points of contact is when you're able to find out if two people are actually interested in each other. So that was why I put it in the book, but I kind of threw it out there as.
I have a game I'd like to play with you if you don't mind.
Okay.
Now, we like to play a game called Truth or Dare on this show. Have you ever played Truth or Dare?
Yeah, I have.
So, I would like to present you with this choice.
Okay.
Would you like truth or dare?
You know what? Let's do dare.
Now, do you want to try to do fortunately, unfortunately?
Sure.
Okay, so we're going to do a dare here. And for this dare, it's called Fortunately, Unfortunately. Now, Ebony, do you consider yourself more of a pessimist or an optimist?
Honestly, I'm probably more of a pessimist.
You're the pessimist. Okay,
Yeah.
then I will play the optimist.
Okay.
I will be the fortunately's.
Okay.
And you will counter those with unfortunately's.
Okay.
And we'll go back and forth a few times, either until one of us can't do one anymore, or we decide that we've had our fill.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Fortunately, I got a new job.
I suck at this. Unfortunately, my first day starts when I have a vacation.
Oh. Well, but fortunately, it's the job is remote and I can do it from my vacation.
Unfortunately, I have no Wi-Fi.
No. But fortunately, nobody likes to work on vacation.
Unfortunately, I do like to work on vacation.
Well, then, fortunately for you, I've got a job that you can do on vacation. All right. I
think we're done. I
think that was pretty good.
I think we messed that one up.
No. I think that was fantastic. Ebony, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Goodbye.
Bye.